Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Kevin Carr.
Kevin, let's give our audience a couple of presents today.
Absolutely.
2 rather than 1 film, and 2 that they may not see unless they listen to us, because these, we at least agree, are good films.
And somewhat flying under the radar.
Yes, indeed. One of them getting big buzz is the Babadook. Wait a minute, Kevin, let me read this. It says here, if it's in a word or in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook.
Sounds like a couple first dates I've had.
What is going on with this Babadook?
This is a scary movie, and it's known for being, I believe it was a Kickstarter campaign that started it.
Oh, I forgot that.
So it was crowdfunded, and it's a movie about a woman. She's her husband's been killed, and she's trying to raise her problem child who's got some developmental issues, and they are suddenly started to be haunted by this malevolent creature called the Babadook.
From a pop-up book.
The most terrifying pop-up book you've ever read.
And is it real?
It is real. They're starting to offer it next year. You can actually buy the Babadook book, but it's like $80. I don't know if I want to spend $80 unless you want to terrify a child.
There are 2 horrible things going on here. What makes it one of the best, and I mean, to me, it goes along with Conjuring last year, which I liked a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I think these are 2 good ones for aficionados and for newcomers. But the terrifying thing is, she's a single mom with a disturbed kid.
Yeah.
And she is feeling responsible for the death of her husband, which was probably 6 years ago at least.
Something like that, yeah.
And the young son, of course, is missing dad, and himself probably feeling responsible. And the 2 of these are filled with guilt.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
and that's what it is. It preys upon not just typical scares, light and shadow, darkness, and eeriness. It preys upon the guilt you feel, all guilt you feel as a parent, and especially in her situation, the unknown nature. The kid not only misses his dad, but has never known him because the father died before he was born. So it deals with all these unpleasant emotions that come with not just being a parent, but also being a child.
Oh, sure. It is, and it has some of the old tropes in it. I mean, it has, you don't quite see who this guy is. I mean, there's only a couple places, I think, in the film where we even get a good look at him.
Yeah.
Probably get a better look right here.
Yeah, that's close.
And kids, all kids worry about stuff in their closets, under their beds. Yeah. And this just works so perfectly with it.
What's effective about it is because it was low budget, being a Kickstarter campaign, it was a small movie, it uses all of its limitations to its advantage. The fact that it doesn't have money for big sets, so it all mostly takes place in this house, and it's done very effectively from room to room. They don't use big effects, so they use light and shadow.
Yes.
It's what old school horror movies were all about.
That's a great point. I think you're so right. I felt right at home. I'm frequently looking for the digital effects, and they're very hard to find anyway. But this one, you got a feeling, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back 30 years ago. I'm enjoying this.
And even more notable, it's directed by a woman. And there's been a lot of talk recently about women being underrepresented in Hollywood and in movies. And the fact that here's this movie that connects to predominantly female emotions because it's about a mother.
Sure.
But it transcends that and can connect to a regular audience, just a mainstream audience, male or female. You don't expect that. I think that's great. It's a triumph for independent film. It's a triumph for the director. It really is a great film.
It's Jennifer Kent is the director, and I believe, Kevin, this is her first directorial.
I think so.
Yeah. So,
not going to be her last, that's for sure.
No, I know it. So if you're looking, if your family doesn't scare the heck out of you over the vacation, you can go to see this one, and I think pretty much most from teens on up would enjoy this film.
I think so. I wouldn't take a little kid. You'd probably terrify them. Get them the book instead, and give them nightmares from that.
All right, Kevin, we need to go softer here.
Okay.
All right, we need to shift gears, and we need to go to Japan.
Okay.
We need to go to the great anime tradition.
Mm-hmm.
The Tale of the Princess
Kaguya.
Kaguya, very good.
Yeah.
And this is a Japanese film that is dubbed, so you don't have to worry about reading subtitles.
Some recognizable names like James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, Chloe Grace Moretz all do voices.
Yes, Chloe Grace plays the princess.
Yes.
And this is a 10th century story. This is perhaps the oldest folktale in Japan.
Yeah, it is. And it's done by Studio Ghibli, who is most notable for delivering Hayao Miyazaki's work.
Right, yes.
But he famously did sort of his share level retirement last year and might be doing more stuff, who knows. But this is not directed by him.
No, and his great one is The Wind Rises.
Yeah, that was the one from last year.
From last year.
Very, very different. I love his more fantasy stuff, but Ghibli's always done very warm and fuzzy, fantastic elements.
You know, we talked about the Babadook maybe not being good for small kids. What do you think? Is this good for?
Well, I mean, it does run long. It's like almost 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's true. Yeah.
So it does tend to be a little. It's a little bit more of a mature movie, but I think kids can like it. If your kid just wants to see blowing up, if that's all they want, then you might not take them to that.
To me, there's something similar to it about E.T. and The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The whole idea of getting back home.
Yeah.
And this is a double take because there are two different homes for this princess. The one that she's brought up on here, and then from elsewhere. We're not going to reveal. Well, I don't know if it's a reveal or what.
Yeah.
To say, I suppose it's from the moon.
Yeah, well, just from her, she's not a normal human being,
right?
Because she's born in a stalk of bamboo.
Yeah, yes.
That is not how babies are made.
and Dad, played by the voice of James Caan, adopted Dad, finds some gold.
Yeah, there's more gifts to her
in that bamboo, and so they take her to the city to educate her because he's going to effectively buy her way into nobility.
And what's interesting about that is regardless of whether it's Japanese, American, or any other folktale, there always seems to be these common threads, and it does have that thread of money doesn't buy you happiness.
Yes, yes.
There's a certain charm and lovability to a simple life, which is all she really wants.
Yeah, and I that's I'm so glad you brought that point up because to me they don't hammer that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks like it's going smoothly.
Yeah.
She looks like she deserves to be a princess. And she's not anguishing over being rich and isolated.
Yeah.
It just the movie kind of slowly moves you that way with her. So you see, yeah, really, she needs to get home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had a buddy there whom they apparently put into this legend. He wasn't original in the legend.
Oh, okay.
Her love, so to speak.
The boyhood. Her boyhood crush.
Right. Yeah. And so you can tell that she needs to get back, and I think it's very nice for everybody. And then when her real family comes in, is a whole other level.
Yeah.
For this story.
What I also loved about this was the animation and the style. It uses this sort of, so almost this papercraft watercolor style, which is more rustic than what you're used to.
Oh yeah.
And it's different than Miyazaki's work, which is very crisp and line drawn.
Yeah.
This is just beautifully animated. I mean, it's a picture book in motion.
And I think there's maybe some what do you call it, charcoal.
Yeah.
Involved in this as well.
Yeah, very sketchy looking.
But beautiful, artfully done. I mean, there's one of a plum blossom, that's just gorgeous with that color, but they don't saturate it with the color. There's kind of a very nice conservative balance in all of their frames. So it's beautifully done. So these are two good films, Kevin.
Absolutely. Two of them flying under the radar. Babadook is probably less under the radar. But The Tale of Princess Kaguya is a great film. If you get a chance to see it, it's at the Gateway.
Gosh, here we are. It's movie time.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving our audience these gems. This is terrific. Now, what grade, however, would we give them?
Okay.
All right.
Do you want me to do both at once? I'll give a bam bam, an A and an A. That's what I have to say, both of them.
Yes, that's indeed what I would say. All right. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.